it was a wonderful experience. I spent a year there and I really enjoyed every bit of it. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. My name is Tolu, and in today's video, I'll be talking about pre-PhD programs. What are they? Why are they important? And I'll also share some examples of pre-PhD programs that I know. So, a pre-PhD program is a program that prepares you for a PhD. Basically, that's what it is. And while there are, like, for example, if you say a master's degree is a pre-PhD program, which is very true. There's also some programs that are actually called pre-PhD programs. They are actually not exactly master's degrees. They are not master's degrees, but they are targeted towards preparing you for further graduate studies. A good example that I know is the International Center for Theoretical Physics postgraduate diploma program. It's not a master's program, but it's a pre-PhD program. It prepares you for doing further research work. I was privileged to be there for a year. I had such a lovely time there, and it was everything they said that it would be. To be honest, I had a lovely time. I learned a lot, and I'll be telling you all about the benefits of that in this video. So you might, if you are anything like me, or you might be thinking, why do I need a pre-PhD program? It's going to just take one extra year when I can go directly for a PhD, right? And to be honest, you might not need a pre-PhD program. I don't think they are compulsory. And I think that if you put in the work and you go directly for your PhD program, you can still do excellently well. But if you have the opportunity to go for a PhD program, I would recommend it. Maybe that's because I went for one and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it though, and by the end of this video, there'll be a poll asking if you would consider going for a pre-PhD program. So please try to respond to it. I would like to know your thoughts, and if you want to talk more about the reason for your choice in the poll, then please feel free to do so in the comment section. So when I was in my third or in my final year of university, I think my third year of my bachelor's degree, a Professor Alabi, someone I really respect and someone who has been very helpful to me in my journey, told me about the ICTP diploma program for the first time. And at that time, I was like, no, I don't think I want to do a diploma program for 1 year. I want to go straight, end my PhD, and finish while I'm still very young. And so, and that was my thinking then. I was like, why do I need a pre-PhD program when I can go directly for a PhD? A few months later, shortly after graduation, after my bachelor's degree was completed, Dr. Mrs. Fadikpe, someone else I really respect and someone who has been instrumental in my journey so far, and our former student, now Dr. Windare, at that time we just completed the ICTP diploma program, the ICTP pre-PhD program, and they met with me and told me all about the program again and encouraged me to apply. So I was fascinated this time, and I actually applied because they had so many interesting things to say, very positive things to say about the program, and in fact, it won me over, and I was very motivated to apply for that. So I applied for the program. I also applied to other PhD programs, but none in the US, only in Europe for some reason. We can talk about some other time. So I applied and I got in, thankfully. I was so glad. It was going to be my first time away from Nigeria, away from home actually, away from my parents, because I lived with my parents all my life up until then, and it was a wonderful experience. I spent a year there and I really enjoyed every bit of it. And today I'll share you some of the things it helped me with, and why I would recommend it for someone who is considering going for a PhD. So why I would recommend any pre-PhD program generally. Well, not just any, but you get what I mean. Why I would recommend a good pre-PhD program for you before you go on to do your PhDs. Like I said, it's not compulsory. I know many people who have done their PhDs directly and are doing excellently well. And going for a pre-PhD program is also not a guarantee that you will definitely succeed in a PhD program. it's just like extra extra an extra experience that I feel like if you want you can take advantage of. Number one on my list why a pre-PhD program is beneficial is that it exposes you to some fields in your subject of study that you may not cover in your own country. Not because your own country's university or the university you attended was not good, but just because sometimes a university may be strong in one area and not very strong in the other, maybe because of a lack of faculty in that particular field. For example, I attended University of Ilorin. We had a very strong numerical methods, a very strong grasp on numerical methods because we had many professors in that area. But in geometry, I would say not very much. By the time I left Unilorin, I knew so little about geometry, and I was still a mathematician, right? But going to ICTP really exposed me to the field of geometry, and I got to know about it. Although I still don't really like geometry, but at least I know more about it. I knew more. I got to know more about it by the time I finished the postgraduate diploma program than before I went. So it exposes you to like fields that you may not know, and like it's good to know more about what you plan to do long term, especially if you want to go for a PhD in that field. Who knows, maybe the field that you have little knowledge about might be the field that will interest you the most and you would want to pursue research in. But if you don't know it, then you don't know it. So that's one advantage of a PhD program. The second is I put it here as an incentive to work harder. It can be an incentive to work harder because you get to meet people that are so brilliant. It's people that like could be much more smarter than you. So maybe in your university or wherever you're coming from, you could be among the smartest, but then going to a pre-PhD program, especially one where you get to meet like very diverse group of people, you most likely will meet people smarter than you. And also the amount of work will definitely make you want to work harder. It helps you to put in more effort. And when you put in more effort, then you get to know more and you get to be a better rounded individual. So that's exactly how I put it here actually. I just said an incentive to work harder because that was what it was for me. When I got to ICTV, I thought they picked me wrongly because everyone there was so smart. I was like, why did they pick me for this program? Could they have made a mistake? But I eventually settled in well. My results were not as good as I would want to be for some other reason I won't talk about in this video. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot in my 1 year at ICTP. I worked very hard. I had to work very hard because it was a very intensive program. So it will make you work harder, and hard work always pays off. Number three on my list is that it gives you an opportunity to make friends and to collaborate. So long-term friends, like actual friends, not just because of academics, because you get to meet people, and some people you get along with very well and be friends even long after the program is over. At ICTP, I met Rahama. Rahama is like my friend. She's from a different in Nigeria. She's from a different state than I am, and we might never have met if it wasn't for ICTP, but we met at ICTP. And after our diploma program at ICTP, we happened to go together to get the Berlin Mathematical School scholarship together, and we went to Berlin together. And it was it's so nice to have met Rahama, and up till now we are still friends, and I'm so thankful for that relationship that I got to grow through ICTP. I'm so thankful for her. And there are other people that I still know to date because we completed the diploma program at ICTP together. So it's an opportunity for you to make lifelong friends. And even if you don't get to make lifelong friends for with some people, you could get to collaborate with them, maybe for future research projects, or just because sometimes it's just knowing someone, maybe just the fact that you've studied with someone before could make a lot of difference. So it's different, like at least if you studied with someone before, it gives you a ground to approach them, a better ground to approach them than if you've never actually met before. So even though you might not make friends with everyone, at least you get to know people outside of your regular circle for future collaborations and opportunities. Number four on my list is that it gives you an opportunity to improve on your previous performance, or it could serve as a bridge between two different fields for you. So for example, if in your bachelor's study you did not do as well as you would have wanted, and you are fortunate enough to be picked for a pre-PhD program, you're fortunate to be admitted into pre-PhD program. You could really put in a lot of effort into the pre-PhD program such that your it makes up for your bachelor's degree result that you feel wasn't good enough, or maybe your master's degree result that you feel wasn't good enough. So it somehow can help you make up for some not so good grades that you've had previously. And it could also serve as a bridge. So for example, if you studied a different course in your bachelor's degree and now you want to go for a PhD in another field, a pre-PhD program in the field you want to go to for your PhD could really help you bridge that gap between the two different fields. It's an important point that I think we don't talk about enough. During my pre-PhD program, I met Ajay from Nepal. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever known in my life. He did his bachelor's degree in economics, if I'm correct. He did it in economics, and then he came to the postgraduate diploma program in mathematics, and he coped really well. He did really well. It was so helpful to me. Like, took his time to explain most of the homework to me, and so on. He's, like I said, he's one of the smartest people I've actually ever met. But the pre-PhD program served as a bridge for him, as he's now doing his PhD in mathematics in Italy. So it sort of bridged the gap between economics and math for him. And last on my list is it gives you a larger pool of recommenders for your applications, because when you do a pre-PhD program, you get to meet professors, you get to meet postdoctoral researchers, and so on. You get to work with them. They also get to know you, you get to contribute to their research, and all of this gives them something to say about you, and this could be useful for your PhD application. So in addition to your bachelor's degree professors or lecturers, you can also ask your pre-PhD programs professors and lecturers for recommendations. So there's less, you can spread out the request for recommendations more evenly about like them. So it's less pressure on like all your bachelor's degree professors to write recommendation letters for you. So everyone can write fewer, and it can actually be spread out more thinly. Those are the 5 points I have, and I'll go over them again just for emphasis sake. Number 1, it gives you exposure to some fields in your subject of study that you may not cover in your own country. Number 2, it's an incentive to work harder because you get to meet a lot of smart people, and also because there's a lot of work to do. Number 3, it gives you an opportunity to make friends or to collaborate with people. 4, it gives you an opportunity to improve on your previous performance, and it could also serve as a bridge between two different fields. And lastly, it gives you a larger pool of recommenders for your applications. So I wanted to share this with you. And one more thing I want to say is I know like I've mentioned the ICTP pre-PhD program a lot, and it's a very good one, especially if you are into math or physics or I think quantitative life sciences. Yeah, so if you are in those fields, you might want to check out the International Center for Theoretical Physics postgraduate diploma program. And they have a lot of other programs too. They have master's programs. They have an opportunity where you can work with a researcher from ICTP while you are doing your PhD in your own country, and so on. And they are very particular about people from third world countries, and that's so good and can be so helpful. So you want to look out for this, and it's a nice opportunity for you if you get to go there. You get to meet people from all over the world, very different kinds of people, and yes, I really enjoyed my time here. I'm sure you can tell already because I've said it so many times, but it was a wonderful experience for me. And there's also the AIMS program. The AIMS is actually a master's program, but it can also serve as a pre-PhD program for you. So it's AIMS stands for African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, and they target mostly African students. And I think it's not just mathematics, because I know people who have done something related to data science at AIMS, but it's like, yeah, it serves as a bridge for you between your bachelor's degree and your PhD program. So you might want to check out those two programs, ICTP and AIMS. If I get any more information about this, I'll make sure to add it to the description, or add a comment to this video. Please take some time to respond to the poll on whether you would consider going for a pre-PhD program or not on my YouTube page. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.